Some chess games last for hours. Others barely exist. World Championship games that end before anything even starts. Today, we're looking at the strangest official chess games ever played. Games that became records not because of brilliance, but because of how shockingly short they were. Let's start with the shortest games in chess history. Technically, the shortest possible chess game lasts 0 moves, when one player is awarded a forfeit loss. This has happened many times in official events. The most famous examples are Game 2 of the World Championship match between Boris Spassky and Bobby Fischer, which Fischer did not show up for, and Game 5 of the Kramnik-Topalov World Championship match, when Vladimir Kramnik refused to appear. Forfeits can also happen for other reasons. Grandmaster Alexander Delchev once lost a game simply because his phone rang during play, an automatic loss under the rules. But if we ignore forfeits and look at the shortest games that were actually played in official tournaments, the record belongs to Zoran Djordjevic and Milorad Kovacevic. Their game lasted just 3 moves. Black delivers a check and at the same time launches a tactical threat. The bishop on g5 is effectively lost. There is no satisfactory way to save it. White is faced with continuing the game a full piece down with no compensation and immediately resigns. Chess games can also end in a draw by agreement after any number of moves, unless tournament rules forbid it. Traditionally, grandmasters agree to so-called grandmaster draws after 10 to 15 theoretical moves, often to conserve energy during long tournaments or in final rounds when the result no longer matters. Because of this practice, modern organizers frequently introduce rules designed to discourage short draws. In rare cases, and only with the organizer's approval, games have even been agreed drawn without a single move being played. According to the Chess Games database, this happened in 1968 at the Skopje Ohrid tournament, where grandmasters Dragoljub Janošević and Efim Geller agreed to a draw without play. A similar situation occurred in Luton in 1975, when Anthony Miles and Stuart Rubin did the same with the arbiter's permission, securing first and second places respectively. Now, excluding forfeits, the shortest game ever played in a World Championship match was Game 21 between Mikhail Botvinnik and Tigran Petrosian, a draw agreed after just 10 moves. So what actually happened on the board? Was this just a quick handshake, or was the position already completely exhausted? Let's take a closer look. The game begins with the English opening. Petrosian immediately steers the game away from sharp lines, choosing a flexible and extremely solid setup. Central pawns are exchanged early, and by move 5, the strategic character of the position is already fixed. The critical moment comes when Black captures on c3 and then plays qd1+. Queens are traded on move 6, a remarkably early queen exchange for a World Championship game. From that point on, almost all dynamic tension disappears. After be2, b3, and nd2, the position is fully stabilized. Development is complete, plans are exhausted, and both players clearly understand that nothing meaningful can be achieved without unnecessary risk. So, the draw after 10 moves wasn't cosmetic, it was entirely logical. In a World Championship match, this was cold, professional realism. After the ultra-quiet 10-move draw between Botvinnik and Petrosian, let's jump to the opposite extreme. The shortest, decisive game ever played in a World Championship match. Game 8 of the 2012 match between Viswanathan Anand and Boris Gelfand. Black resigned on move 17. So what went wrong, and why did the game collapse so fast? The opening leads to a Benoni-type structure, but Anand immediately takes the game into sharp territory with an early pawn move to f3. This setup is ambitious. White builds a massive center and makes it clear from the very beginning that this will be a fighting game. Gelfand immediately tries to undermine White's center with a pawn break in the c-file. White responds by continuing to grab space, while Black fianchettos the bishop, preparing to challenge the center from a distance. On move 7, Gelfand makes his first inaccuracy of the game by placing the knight on the edge of the board. The idea was likely to provoke White into pushing the g-pawn and weakening the king's shelter. Anand ignores the provocation and calmly develops his bishop to g5. Black then offers a bishop trade, and this turns out to be a second mistake. Exchanging those bishops weakens Black's own king much more than it harms White. In return, Black does get a chance to strike at the center, and immediately takes it. After Black captures the pawn on f5 with the bishop, Anand responds with a strong double attack. At this moment, Black still had a more resilient defensive option, trading the bishop for the knight on b1 and retreating the knight toward g7. The position would have been unpleasant, but not yet lost. Instead, Gelfand chooses a more forcing line, giving check by bringing a rook to the e-file. After the bishop for knight exchange, Black activates the queen, putting his hopes on a tactical counterattack. White captures the knight. Black wins a rook. On the surface, it looks like Black has gained material and turned the tables, but this is an illusion. After Anand calmly brings his queen to f2, Black suddenly has no good way out. The queen is trapped. There is no safe square, no adequate defense, no escape. Gelfand realizes that the position is lost and resigns on move 17. This was a razor-sharp, highly tactical battle where Black underestimated the attacking potential of White's position and paid the price immediately. If the shortest games feel like chess barely had time to begin, the longest ones feel like they never want to end. Here, a single game can last longer than an entire tournament. The game between Samuel Lipschutz and Henry Bird in New York in 1889 became the first recorded chess game to exceed 150 moves. It lasted exactly 159 moves, something that seemed almost unimaginable at the time. Decades later, another milestone was set in Mar del Plata in 1950. The game between Miguel Pilnik and Herman Cherniak reached 191 moves and entered the Guinness Book of Records as the longest chess game ever played. But records in chess rarely stay untouched. That famous game has since been surpassed so many times that today it doesn't even make the top 25 longest games in history. The current official record belongs to the game between Ivan Nikolic and Goran Arcevic, played in Belgrade in 1989. That marathon lasted an astonishing 269 moves. After FIDE introduced stricter interpretations of the 50-move rule, breaking this record became significantly harder, and today it stands as one of the most extreme endurance tests ever seen in tournament chess. The longest game ever played in a World Championship match came much later. It was Game 6 of the 2021 match between Magnus Carlsen and Ion Nepomniachtchi. The game lasted 136 moves and ended with a victory for Carlsen, playing white. Chess history also contains records that sound almost unbelievable. There exists an official tournament game in which 3 castlings were recorded, 2 by White and 1 by Black, even though this is strictly illegal under the rules of chess. This happened in the game between Wolfgang Heidenfeld and Nick Cairns in Dublin in 1973. White first castled kingside, then later castled queenside after illegally moving the king back. Neither player nor the arbiter noticed the violation, and the result remained part of the official record. The game ended with a win for Black. Another remarkable record involves not moves, but thinking time. The longest recorded think for a single move in an official game belongs to Brazilian Grandmaster Francisco Troyes. On just the 7th move of the game, he spent 2 hours and 20 minutes deciding between only 2 options. After finally making his choice, Troyes then played the next 21 moves at blitz speed and resigned. After the game, his opponent asked him, "How can you think for almost 2 hours when there are only 2 moves?" Troyes replied, "I don't understand it either." We hope this journey through chess records was interesting for you. Let us know in the comments if you'd like a continuation of this series. There are plenty more incredible chess records still to explore. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. It truly helps the channel grow.